All right. I am so excited to be back here once again, right in the flow of picking up where we left off. This live stream series is really being brought to you to activate you, to get you moving towards the thing that you truly have been called to do. And as I woke up this morning, I woke up thinking about some of the things that I talked through on yesterday. And I will tell you, I shared something that truly has been on my mind since I talked about it with you. Now, I don't plan to rehearse everything from the prior day every time I show up this month, but I do think this is worth a run back through. I do think I need to circle the block on this one because one of the things that I did share on yesterday was a tool to help you truly decipher if moving into entrepreneurship or starting a business is the right move for you. It sounds like a great idea. In fact, it's a very strategic idea to start a business. But what I often find is that some people just jump into it. I like to always use this phrase that some were sent and some just went. And when you move into entrepreneurship, it is such a big lift that you don't want to be one of those people that just went after it. You want to be someone who was sent after it. And I believe that there are some telltale signs. I walked through them on yesterday, but I do just want to bring them back up today because there are some telltale signs that starting a business is truly your right next move. And so when I got up this morning, I found myself sharing some of these key ideas on social media. So some of you may have seen the post, but I do believe when you are called to be an entrepreneur, doing any old kind of business won't do for you. And that is why you can start off hot, but you'll fizzle out because it's not connecting with who you are. Purpose isn't in it for you. And good ideas do indeed turn a profit, but they oftentimes don't go the distance. Let me say that again. Good ideas do indeed turn a profit, but they oftentimes don't go the distance because they're not connected with who you are. And when you have achieved great success and great achievement in your career, like so many of you have, any old business is not going to do. It has to be the right business. And so yesterday, I kind of emphasized the point of reaching a crossroads. And that crossroads is a bit of a fork in the road for you in both your life and career. And one of the things that I know has to happen when you find yourself at a crossroads is that you must take action. If you don't take action when you find yourself at a crossroad, you are going to begin to feel stuck and stifled, and dissatisfaction is going to settle in. So I will agree that if you find yourself at the crossroads, you do need to do something, but it is not everyone's best next step to start a business. And I think for those of you who are being called to entrepreneurship, there are some indicators, there are some telltale signs that says that move is the right move for you. So on yesterday, as I was sharing with you, I listed out some very specific things that you can begin to reflect on about where you are, what you sense and feel about that situation as to whether or not starting a business is the right move for you. Now, if we haven't met and if you don't know anything about me, here's the one key thing I want you to know. I help women launch purpose-driven businesses that are an extension or a continuation of the achievement and success they have already had. And that's a key thing because the women that I work with, one of the clear indicators that starting a business is the right move for them is they don't want out. They are not looking for an escape. They don't want out. What they really want is ownership. And so the first deciding or deciphering indicator that says starting a business is the right thing for you is you don't want out. You want ownership. You are not fantasizing or dreaming about leaving your job. It's not the exit. It really is the interest that it intrigues you more. The interest into owning something of your own, that is what woos you, not the exit from what you're leaving behind. And this is when there is purpose tied to it. This happens when there's profit tied to it. This happens when there's power tied to it. You sense that ownership is going to give you those things. Now, what I do find as a red flag, is that if you are only fantasizing about your escape from corporate and not really intrigued by your entrance into entrepreneurship, this may be an indication that you're dealing with burnout, and starting a business will never ever be the solution for burnout. Burnout is not solved by starting a business. And so the first tool that you can look at and say to yourself, if business is your right next step, is, are you more intrigued about where you're going, which is into ownership, rather than what you're leaving, which is getting out of corporate? So you have to reason through that for yourself. But if it's about ownership and impact, then that is vision wooing you forward. That is vision making connection with you. And it is 100% where you want to lean into, and that's starting your own business. Now, the second thing I shared on yesterday is another indication that starting a business may be your next best move, is you have ideas that won't leave you alone. Now, this is not just a good idea. This is not about entering into a marketing network room or figuring out what's the hottest trend. This is an idea that's rooted within yourself. And usually it's been circling around in your mind. It's been wooing you. It's been nudging you. It's been coming up for you for a while. This is not what is the hottest thing happening. This is something that is from internal, and you're being called to do it. And what often happens as a response is we downplay it, but it keeps coming back up. And that usually happens when there is some frustration happening at work, or when things just really aren't settling well for you. This answer, this thing, this nudge, it comes up and says, this is what you need to be doing. Now, the red flag is if you convince yourself that those ideas are random. And I said this once before, there is nothing random about anything that you are divinely encouraged to do. When you get those divine nudges, they are there to instruct you on what direction to go. And learning to lean into them with your faith is absolutely the right move to make. So that idea that may be coming up for you is possibly, very, very possibly, an invitation to build something of your own. I love these indicators because there are a lot of people who are flirting with entrepreneurship because it is a hot topic. And I will agree that we need multiple streams of income. I will agree that we need to be more enterprising. But I will say, especially after working with so many women, not everybody is called to be an entrepreneur. You may be called to have multiple streams, but you may not be called to be an entrepreneur, because this requires the commitment that has to be within your soul to see it through, to go the distance, to sustain the journey. You got to know that this is what you're meant to do. And so those two indicators, the ones I've covered so far, is that you don't want out, you want ownership, that you have ideas that won't leave you alone, are good indicators that you can begin to assess where you are and if that is truly entrepreneurship wooing you. Now, I will tell you, I covered two more. I cannot reteach everything from the day before. And so I would invite you to listen to yesterday's live. It is easily accessible on social media right now, on LinkedIn, as well as on Facebook, and obviously on YouTube. If you follow me on YouTube, it's on my YouTube channel, and all of the lives will be out there and available to you for a period of time. So I want to invite you. The first two were good. There's two more indicators that will help you to understand more, but I don't have time today to reteach it. I want to invite you to be curious, have healthy curiosity, and go and check it out for yourself. And I want to just say this last piece. While the shift to entrepreneurship is something that is going to require change and diligence, it will not happen overnight. The shift into entrepreneurship, it begins with a plan. It begins with a plan to start your pivot and make the shift to become your own boss. And what I often see when, especially when people are on the run and they want to make an escape, they make things happen fast. And when you go fast, it becomes a furious journey and you are not able to do it with grace and ease. And this is why I have created an amazing experience that will help you connect a strategy and a plan to your vision so that you can know with intention the steps you need to take to make that pivot real for yourself so that you're able to launch the right business and accelerate to income and impact. And that's what I shared a little bit about yesterday when I offered you the invitation to join me live in Charlotte, North Carolina in October for Corporate to Entrepreneur Live. My goal is to help you finish this year strong and crush it in 2026 as a CEO of your own business. Now, you may be saying to yourself, Denise, why are you here again today? I am here again today because I know what it feels like to have success that everyone else admires while you are quietly wondering to yourself, is this really it? And I want to be a support, a guide. I want to help you understand how to navigate through that crossroads. I remember being at that exact crossroads in my own experience. While I was grateful for what I had built, it had gotten to the point where it was no longer fulfilling to me. And that really was confusion. It's very hard to be in a place where everything is going well, the money's well, the position's well, the title's well, and all of the things that the normal traditional checklist of success should say is great, not be fulfilling to you. And when you're at that place, you begin to question everything because it's not about a money move. It's about a meaning move. It's about how can you find more meaning in what you do? How can you take more ownership and stock in what you do? And how can you truly make the impact that you feel the nudge to accomplish? And because I was at that point in my career where I was facing the biggest title of my career, and I made an internal decision to say, this is not the move for me. I want to help people who are at that crossroads get to the other side. This experience, this show up experience that I am committed to doing for the month of August is for the woman who has already proven herself. She is accomplished, she is respected, but deep down, she knows that she has been called to build something of her own. Not just any business, but the right business, one that aligns with who she is now, what she values, and how she wants to live. And so I created this time of reflection where I'm going to be showing up at lunchtime. You can do lunchtime with me all month long. I've created this time so that we would be rooted in truth, that we would get more clarity, and that you would understand what strategy is going to help you stop circling that idea and truly start stepping into it. Because when you feel that nudge to shift, you absolutely need three things. You need focus, you need vision, and you need a space and a coach that gets it. When you feel the nudge to shift, you need three things. You need focus, you need vision, and you need a space and a coach that gets it. Someone who has taken that journey, gathered the wisdom, and is willing to help you with why and how, as well as have the ability to hold space for your shift, space for your growth, space for your evolution. Now, I will tell you, yesterday, I made some phone calls to some of my clients. And when I called one client in particular, she answered the phone and she said, Denise, I am wrapping up the contract that I had secured and I am pitching another contract. And I said, say what? She said, I'm pitching another contract. I am all excited about the business. But at the same time, she was dealing with the personal stretch. And this is what I mean when you have to have someone who is understanding of what life brings to you, coach you through it, who is understanding of what that shift in your identity is, available to coach you through it. Because as you rise into your CEO space, you are going to have to stretch and grow in ways that someone will need to be there for you. So while I am able to connect strategy and a plan to your vision, that's my wheelhouse. I could do that all day. And while I am able to guide you to launch the right business, that's my zone of genius. I can do that all day. And while I am able to mentor you to accelerate impact and income for yourself, I am also able to help you as you evolve into the CEO that rises to that next level, that new chapter of all the stretch that's going to happen within. And what I find when many people are at this crossroads in deciding if entrepreneurship is the right answer, it is not the what to do that trips them up. I can give you a checklist. You can execute a checklist. You know how to deliver. You know how to make things happen. It is often that shift within that says you are the one that this rests upon that becomes heavy. And you need someone who can hold space for you. And so what I am going to be talking about in the course of this series is how to step into your next level when you know without a doubt that your resume may say executive, but your calling says entrepreneur. I want to help you get through that experience, that thought process, that journey, so that you can get to the other side of ownership and really living a life in a business that you love. So my topic for today is this: why promotions don't satisfy this evolution. It doesn't satisfy who you've become. It doesn't satisfy where you are in your journey now. Why promotions don't satisfy you anymore. Now, my purpose for today, and I won't be before you long. They say that at church all the time. I know the pastor stands up and he says, I won't be before you long. And it seems like he still preaches for an hour, but that's not going to be the case today. I am going to wrap up quickly. My purpose for today is this: I want to help women understand why external achievement stops satisfying when their internal purpose is ready to expand. Let me say that again. I want to help you understand why external achievement stops satisfying when your internal purpose is ready to expand. I really want to help normalize the shift from belonging in leadership to building a divinely inspired vision for impact. And I want to help introduce you to your calling of entrepreneurship as a natural next step, a natural next level, not something that should be feared, but that's something that should be a continuation of your success, an acceleration of what you have been able to achieve. Now, another thing that I did share on that yesterday is I named that quiet frustration, that it says what you're doing no longer satisfies you. I talked about how it starts showing up when you're disengaged, but you're still delivering. I talked about how you start to feel invisible or overlooked despite your performance. I talked about how you keep doing or keep thinking about doing something on your own, but then you talk yourself out of it. And I talked about how you no longer feel lit up by the work. You just know how to win at it. Those are the signs that you have outgrown your role. But outgrowing your role doesn't mean you have outgrown your appetite for success. Hear me again. Outgrowing your role doesn't mean you have outgrown your appetite for success, nor have you outgrown your ability to still achieve. It's just that you are disconnected to the purpose that is rising up within you. And these external achievements stop satisfying you when your internal purpose is ready to expand. The external achievements stop satisfying when your internal purpose is ready to expand. So these feelings have great meaning. These feelings, that these nudges, these things that you're sensing, they have great meaning. And that is why you should not consider them as something that is just random. You are being invited into your next level. This is the beginning of your CEO shift. And that is why I'm showing up, to make sure that you have capitalized on that. But sometimes we think the promotion may be the answer. We think, oh, I'll just go and work on a different team, or, oh, I'll just go and work at a different company, or, oh, I'll just go and pursue the next level. Surely the next level is going to deliver me some more satisfaction. Surely a new project is going to deliver me more satisfaction. Surely doing something new is going to deliver me more satisfaction. And here's what I want you to know. The promotion isn't a breakthrough. It's just a prettier box. A promotion isn't a breakthrough. You'll finally get the title. Maybe it's VP, maybe it's director, maybe it's a long overdue raise. You'll finally get that thing. And at first, it'll feel like a win. You'll post it on LinkedIn. You'll get all the accolades that come, and the applauses and the congratulations that people say. You may even take a trip to celebrate. You'll do that as well. But then within a matter of time, quickly, you're going to be back at feeling that tight feeling in your chest. You're going to be back at feeling that internal nudge that was relentless before, because you aren't solving the right problem. Remember, purpose is ready to expand. And because purpose is ready to expand, giving it more of what you've been giving it is not going to shut it up. The meetings are going to feel the same. The pressure is going to feel heavier. And even though you're now in the room and your voice still doesn't carry the weight that it should, even though you made it into the big meeting, it still is not happening. And you try to tell yourself, Lord have mercy, you try to beat yourself down. You tell yourself, you should be grateful. You try to check yourself. You should be grateful. You know, we play back that song, somebody would win with your hand, or we play back that message, somebody would love to be in your shoes. You should be grateful, but deep down inside, you know that it isn't the breakthrough you prayed for. Hear me loud and clear. This is not more. It's not. The promotion is not the breakthrough you pray for. It's just a shinier version of the box you were already in. And that is when you begin to realize that you weren't craving a promotion. You were craving a shift. Ask me how I know. I did this. I prayed for the answer, and then I made something else happen. And that job was hell on wheels. I did this because I thought getting in a different room was going to be the right answer. But the nudge didn't go away. The craving didn't go away. I wasn't craving a new level. I was craving a shift. And when you find yourself there, you think you're throwing everything away, but you're not. You're not throwing anything away. You're starting from a point of experience where your greatness is significant and it continues to matter. So here's the deal. You followed all the rules, but the reward, it just doesn't hit the same. You got promoted, you got the raise, you got the title, but you still feel stagnated. You still feel stuck. You still feel overwhelmed. You still feel dissatisfied. You can put whatever labels on you want. You still feel disconnected. The excitement, it fades faster. It just isn't in it for you. And that's not ungratefulness. We throw that label on it and we try to check ourselves by saying you should be grateful. What you're sensing is not ungratefulness. You're actually sensing growth. You are sensing growth. And promotions solve external problems, but they can't quiet that soul level craving for purpose and ownership. A promotion cannot fix the soul. You were built to build. You were built to establish vision. You were built to establish something of your own. You weren't built to just belong. You were built to build. You were meant to build. You weren't built just to belong. You were meant to build. The other thing that is really pertinent, and I'll tell you, it was probably the thing that I heard most when I was on my journey. I shared many times before that my journey kind of started, or at least the intensity of my journey started when I was home after surgery. I was on medical leave and I was home recovering. My husband was working pretty diligently, long hours. My girls were gone to school. And so it was like I was here in a quiet camp, right? And what I heard God say to me is that he needed me to transcend success and be significant. And the second thing I will tell you is the need for significance is starting to outweigh your need for security. And that is a big deal. Woo, that's a big pill to swallow, because many of us, we have security as a foundation that we want in our lives. And when the need for significance starts to outweigh your need for security, significance is there to build your future, but security is about your foundation. And this begins that crossroads of who you're going to trust, who you're going to believe, where you're going to have faith. And this is why you can't just operate any old business. You need the one that you're called to do, right? Because if I am going to step away from security, if I am going to step out into a realm of faith that entrepreneurship desires or demands from us, I gotta know there's something tied to the future of that. And I will tell you that wooing of significance makes me show up every day. It's got me here today with you. It's got me making a commitment to show up every day in August because I believe in my future. I have allowed that call that I felt God make on my life to overshadow everything and really become the center source of my belief. And so when the need for significance start to outweigh your need for security, there's this shift that happens where you want to contribute to something that is lasting and not just maintain what you're performing. Hear me. When this shift happens, you will be more focused on creating and contributing to something that is lasting and not just maintaining performance. And that is what you found yourself doing, right? When you're just making stuff happen, you can do it with your eyes closed. That's maintaining performance. That's making sure that I fall in the right side, on the right column, and all of the things so that I can keep doing what I need to do to keep the lights on, to keep the family secure, and all of those things. But this need, this craving, this call for significance, when it begins to outweigh that, this is where purpose-driven entrepreneurship often begins. It's not with an exit plan, but with an awakening. Something lights up in you and you begin to be awakened to the fact that there's a difference that you need to make. There's an impact that hinges upon you doing what you've been called to do. Because remember, your resume, it says executive, but everything within you says that you are being called to be an entrepreneur. So you're not trying to escape your job. You're trying to express your calling. And there is a big difference between belonging versus building. When you have a mindset that I want to belong here, you're asking to fit in. When you have a mindset that I want to build, you're being called to stand out. When you have a mindset that I want to belong, you are focused on stability. When you have a mindset that I want to build, you are focused on making an impact. When you have a mindset that I want to belong, you are focused on following structure. But when you have a mindset that I want to build, you are focused on creating structure. And then finally, when you have a mindset that you want to belong, you're waiting for permission. But when you have a mindset that you are called to build, you are moving with purpose. You are moving with purpose. And what you have to begin to ask yourself in this very pivotal moment, in this crossroads, at this fork in the road, when everything that you are sensing, that you're nudging to feel within is, am I going to give light to where I belong, or am I going to give light to what I'm called to build? Which of these are calling you more right now? Are you being called to belong? Are you being called to build? What starts to happen for the woman who understands that she is called to build, that she is called to entrepreneurship, belonging becomes a cage. Hear me. And this is why the external achievement of promotion doesn't fix it, because it's still within the cage. You've mastered the rules so well that you're not expected to stay within them. You're expected to stay within them. The very thing that earns you praise is now being felt like it's prisoning you. And I am not giving corporate a bad rap. I said many times before that I owe a lot to my corporate experience. It groomed me for success, but I outgrew it. And I was honest with myself enough to say, if I'm going to bet on myself, I am going to bet on the thing that I feel that God is calling me to do. You are not wrong for wanting out. You're not impulsive and you're not selfish. You are just ready for the shift. So here's what I want to say again, because I didn't say it clearly. When belonging becomes a page, you've mastered the rules so well that you're now expected to stay within them. And what I want to understand is, if you'll give yourself a chance to lean into what you've been divinely called to do, you will recognize that you are not wrong for wanting out. You're not impulsive and you're not selfish. You are just simply ready for the shift. So the mindset that I want to activate today is, I don't want to just belong. I want to build. And I invite you to embrace that. If you're connecting with that, you can put that in the chat. I want to build. You can make that declaration for yourself. I want to build. If you sense that your calling is to start a business, you have to embrace the mindset of a builder. Now, before I close out, I do just want to talk about one more thing. And that truly is, what is the best next steps now that a builder mindset has been awakened in you? I think that that's important for me to talk about. Otherwise, I would leave you hanging with a good feeling. It feels good to say, I want to build. I love seeing those things in the chat. I want to build is an excellent mantra. It's an excellent declaration. But if you don't know how to activate it and to put it into action, it just becomes something that you will decouple yourself from quickly. You'll fall away from it and it will never have made a lasting change with you. So if you are sensing at this point in our conversation that you want to build, if it has been awakened within you that you are a builder, here's what I want you to know. You don't need to rush. Comparison is such a thief. Social media perpetuates this thing that you're behind, you haven't accomplished enough, you haven't done enough, that other people are beating you out, but you are on your own journey. You are on your own journey. This is at your own pace. So you don't need to rush. And while some may go faster, you just have to keep the rhythm moving forward. I remember watching one Disney movie. Unfortunately, I can't remember the name of it. But at the end of it, it just said, keep moving forward. You have to keep moving forward. So while you don't need to rush, you do need to move. Because clarity doesn't come from thinking. Clarity comes from building. One of my old coaches used to say, clarity comes in the doing, right? So clarity doesn't come just because you sit there and think. Clarity requires some action. It comes from you actually busting a move. It comes from you building. And so if the builder mindset has been awakened in you, then I want to tell you that there are some best next steps for you. And the first one is that you need to honor the nudge you feel. That stirring you feel, don't play it off. Don't ignore it. Don't downplay it. That's not noise, it's direction. You can journal about it. You can pray about it. You can say it out loud. Be real with the truth of what you sense, the truth of what you feel. You got to honor the nudge. The second thing is you need to define what more means for you. I don't get to define that for you. I got to define it for myself. You have to really take inventory of what do you want more of? Do you want more time? Do you want more ownership? Do you want more creativity? Do you want more impact? I had a coaching call yesterday where I was talking with someone who has stepped newly into entrepreneurship, and she is being challenged to go back to her old organization, who's desiring for her to return. And I told her, before you slam the door, you got to say what it takes. What will it take for them to get you back? You got to put the table stakes there of what you require. So you have to define what it is that it means or what it is that you want. And then the second thing I said to her is you got to say, do you want that? Right? Do you realize what you got to sacrifice to get it? And do you want it? But many of us, we just gloss over it. We don't define what more means for us. All we know is that we just want something different, but we got to give definition to it. What do you want more of? Do you want more time, more ownership, more creativity, more impact? What do you want? You can't build what you haven't defined. The third thing that you have to do is you must audit your genius. You must audit your genius. You must decide, what are you amazing at that feels easy to you, but valuable to others? I love that. What are you amazing at that feels easy to you, but valuable to others? That's the foundation of your business, not a LinkedIn title, not a good idea, not a networking meeting suggestion. It's you. You're at the center of it, because that taps into purpose. That taps into purpose. What are you amazing at that feels easy to you but valuable to others? Number 4 is decide that you're not going back to sleep. Woo. Decide you're not going back to sleep. And I'll tell you, one of the most disappointing things is when you invest your heart, your energy, your vision, your planning, and all of your strategy into someone who goes back to sleep. Once your calling wakes you up, don't hit snooze. Keep moving forward. You don't have to quit your job tomorrow, but you do need to say yes to your future today. Decide that you're not going back to sleep, and you keep swimming. You keep moving forward. You keep pushing through. And number 5, the last thing, is to get in the room that matches the move you're making. Get in the room that matches the move that you're making. Surround yourself with strategy, support, and people who see what's possible for you. I think that's one of the things that I love about the coaches that I have personally tapped into myself is they see what's possible for me, and they call me in to that greater level. And you need to get into a space, into a room that matches the move you're making. This is good stuff, and I hope you are picking up what I'm putting down. And that is exactly why the Corporate to Entrepreneur Live experience exists. That is the room that I am curating. This is not to hype you up, but it really truly is to walk with you as you build what belongs to you. Hear me. And I would love to see you in that room. You have spent enough time proving yourself, and now it's time to position yourself strategically, powerfully, and profitably in a space that is designed to match the move you're making. And so I want to invite you to go to www.theceoshift.live. www.theceoshift.live. You will have more information there. We are still in pre-sale mode. It is a whopping 80% off. You can join me live and in person in the room for 2 days in Charlotte, North Carolina this October. I would love, love, love to be a part of your evolution, of your stretch, of your journey of becoming. Now, here's the thing, and this is my last thing before I close out. Yesterday, I mentioned that I added an incredible bonus when you signed up, but I failed to walk through the bonus. And this bonus is important because when you finally say yes to building what's yours, the next question that often comes up is, how do I show up like a CEO from the start? And I want to make sure that when you leave the space with me, that you are ready to go, that you are ready to show up like a CEO from the start. So I have incorporated the booked and branded starter suite. This is my gift to you to help you start like a CEO from the start. And it's an amazing experience that's being curated for you, because it's not just about the mindset, it's about the momentum, it's about your movement. So the first thing that this bonus incorporates is that you'll look the part, because you'll know how to present your brand in a way that shows you mean business. So you'll look the part. There will be a mini branded photo shoot at the event, ensuring that you walk away with elevated on brand visuals that reflect the power of your shift. You'll sound the part. You'll look the part and you'll sound the part, because your brand bio was your first impression. And so we're going to refresh your short and long bios so that you can show up ready and confidently on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and on your next introduction call. You'll sound the part and you'll show up consistently. You won't be starting from scratch. We're going to work on some Canva templates that'll make it easy to start posting, pitching, and presenting with a cohesive brand look. And then finally, you'll own your own expertise right where people are looking for it. We will update your LinkedIn account, your about section, so that you are showing up as the CEO you're becoming. You're not leaving your role. You're not leaving your role, but you're showing up as the CEO that you are becoming. And so I wanted to just kind of walk through that. I am so excited to continue showing up with you here. And here's the deal. I want you to go to www.theceoshift.live to get more information. You can look at the booked and branded suite offer that is there for you when you sign up. As a bonus, I'm excited about the event. There are people who are registered. This room is having some dynamic people there, and I would love to have you included in the space. So go to www.theceoshift. Make plans right now to join me there. And if you're starting to realize that this is the space you need to be in, be healthy about that curiosity. Lean into that curiosity, because this space is going to be a game-changing space that allows you to connect strategy and a plan to your vision, allows you to launch the right business and accelerate with impact and income. Now, as I shared, I am going to be live every day this month. Because that's my commitment. That's what I feel like I'm called to do in this season, to energize you, activate you on your journey, and then also help you to understand the right step to get in the room with me. Be sure to go to www.theceoshift.live, and I will see you tomorrow. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about our continued conversation. And if you have any questions, you obviously can slide into my DMs and ask me anything. I'll be back tomorrow. Be sure to share this with a friend, especially if it's connected with you, it's resonated with you. You've got someone in your life that has been talking about going into business, and it sounds like something they're called to do. This will be good stuff for them. So be sure to share. I'll see you tomorrow.